Oops, that was bad. That was a near close pull out. Hello guys, good day, welcome back to the new video of Tesca, and today we are riding in BMW iX40e. I think they always put E at the back, but whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about, because if you have been subscribing to this channel because of my E-Tron, then I guess you should have seen this one coming. So I think I drove this car like 2-3 months ago and was actually surprisingly good. I mean, like, the opinion has been very, let's say, yeah, it's kind of like a polarizing car, this one, iX, and a lot of people said like, oh, okay, based on the picture that I see on the internet or the YouTube video, the interior is perfect, but the outside looks like a bread toaster or something. I don't know. Like, I think it looks like a toaster kind of, because it's like kind of like high in the middle and tip off at the both ends. But again, this car is actually very competent and very comfy car and very heavy car. But I'm gonna compare this car to the E-Tron 50. Actually, this car is comparable to E-Tron 55. But let me tell you why I'm comparing this to my late E-Tron. Well, not that Booba died, but it's like it's not there yet. It's not there anymore with us because it was a leasing car. So the BMW iX40 carries a 77 kilowatt battery, and it boasts 326 horsepower with 630 Newton meter, which is good to take this car from 0 to 100 to in 6 seconds. Oh, sorry, I said car. I mean like truck, because this thing weighs at 2.44 tons. Granted, it is a little bit lighter than E-Tron 55. So E-Tron 55 will tip your scale at 2.565 tons, and the E-Tron 50 is not much lighter than that. I haven't checked in internet, but I will put it down here. And if you're gonna ask me like, oh, you don't know the weight of your own car, of course I don't know, because I'm just driving the car. I'm not, I'm not putting it on a scale because it was not on a diet, you know what I mean? But yeah, so back to this car. And this car is actually very gimmicky, and I think like it represents now that the i3 has been discontinued, I find this car to be like, like taking over, like carrying the torch that that was started by i3. Because if I see like the whole architecture of the interior, like how far the steering wheels to the bonnet, for example, like there's like literally a size of football pitch in front of me. That's typical of BMW i3, and yeah, and this car also like has this kind of like carbon core technology that BMW uses, and I guess that's why it's lighter than E-Tron. Well, lighter by around 150 kilograms, which is not nothing, but it is still a damn heavy car because it's a big SUV. And this car also has 21-inch wheels, I guess. It looks nice though, but it's just they are big. So yeah, and let's talk about the elephant in the room, the range. So BMW kind of like claim that iX40 can reach 380 kilometers of range in favorable condition, I guess, in the summer, which we are now, basically. But when I picked up this car, it has 94% of charge, and it's showed me 340 kilometers range, which is in the same ballpark as E-Tron Quattro 55. And the E-Tron Quattro 55 has actually 95 kilowatt battery, but that one was kind of like from the older tech, I can say. And this one is kind of new, and this also has like the 400 volt tech inside. But in the real world, 77 kilowatt battery with around 340 kilometer range and weight around 2.4 tons is kind of like similar to E-Tron. Like E-Tron 50 would never reach the range of this, but granted, just a moment, we have like police amongst us. Let's just let him pass first. Yes sir, you can take me from the right, it's okay. And there you go. Yeah, so now we have slightly better condition. I was talking about how it compares to E-Tron. So basically, iX, it's not really a jump in the tech, in my opinion, in comparison to E-Tron, which is based on the older platform, which is built on the older platform. So E-Tron 50 in the summer will get you 300 kilometer range, and it has the net battery capacity is 61 kilowatt, and this one has net battery capacity of 71 kilowatt. So yeah, this actually, like, if you think about it, if you want to extrapolate it, it's actually, it makes sense. If E-Tron, the old E-Tron, has the same battery, it will come out, I guess, a very similar range. Which what I wanted to say is that that iX was built actually newer. This is a newer car than E-Tron. It doesn't really offer a lot of evolution, and leave alone a revolution, because for example, like Tesla and Neo and the newer generation of EV has better range because the consumption is either lower or the density of battery is better. But we are still talking about the normal battery here, and this car is still consuming around 25 kilowatt hour for 100 kilometers, which is a lot higher than what BMW claims. So I think that's one of its Achilles heel, one of its weakness. But that you can forget through the whole. It just feels so plush. And so, but the weakness that iX has, it can be compensated by just how the car feels. The car just feels luxurious, and everything that you touch is just nice. It's just nice. And the suspension is good enough. I need to check if this one has air suspension. I think so, but I will write it down below if I will find it out after this. And it's quiet. Right now we are cruising at 82 kilometer per hour, and it is quiet. I think it's a little bit quieter than E-Tron. And the material is better than E-Tron. Well, my E-Tron was the cheapest E-Tron in Germany when I got it. It cost around 68,000 euro. So this one you will never get at 68,000 euro new. Maybe used, yeah, but otherwise no. And it has also like this kind of like dimming sunroof. You know, you can just turn it kind of like milky so you don't get too much of sun, or you can make it clear again, which is nice. But again, this is a thing that will maybe get broken in 3 years time. Well, BMW, right? And it's the latest iDrive system, which is quite easy to use, and you don't need to do all the touchscreen because you have the swivel wheel here, and the volume you can also change it here, and you have the BMW famous gesture control, which no one uses actually. I use it from time to time just for the volume, nothing else. And yeah, otherwise the looks is where people always it's popular to hate BMW on the design. But you know what, if I'm driving this, I don't see it from the outside, so I don't really care actually. I'll take a look at this EQC. So Merc actually has been really good with giving people what they want, which is range. But if I'm not mistaken, the AQS 580, the one with the biggest range, I think it weighs also 2.5 tons or 2.6 tons, because it has like this 100 kilowatt hour battery, which if you want to charge it at your home, you can wait until your youngest children turn to 18 that it will get up to 100%. It's just mind-boggling, right? And yeah, and otherwise this is a big SUV, and the leather quality is amazing. By the way, this is vegan leather. If you ask me if I notice any difference, actually no. I cannot even care less. I mean, like, I will care if it's like plastic, like from that I saw from Golf GTI find itself here, I will care. But it looks nice, and a touch of kind of like this gold or rose gold or bronze, I don't know what it is. It also looks nice. And about the speed, this one has a top speed of 200. But knowing all of the EV drivers out there, we are just not gonna drive this thing 200 kilometer per hour, right? So it's gonna be like maybe cruising around 150. Because a friend of mine also like had an i7, so the latest BMW flagship electric car that's actually share its platform with the latest Rolls-Royce EV, which is nice. That one is longer than this, and even with that one, he's driving on the Autobahn maybe 150, 160, and it has better range than this, granted. But I think it's also heavier than this one. But yeah, but iX, what's the verdict? I think this car, BMW iX, really represents what an EV should look like. The all gimmicks, also like this kind of like this fun that you can have, like changing the sound, and also kind of like everything that you can expect from an EV, like the whole kind of like infotainment and the haptic, the buttons. It's just there, and it is kind of like what you can expect if you have a German electric car. And if you want more range, you can go for the iX M60. Right now they're making it M60. I thought it used to be 50 if I'm not mistaken. If you want more range from the iX, you can go with the 50. You can also go with the BMW iX M60, which I will never understand why people want EV with more horsepower. First thing first, the horsepower in an EV is also not exactly you cannot really know what kind of exact horsepower EV has actually. So kind of like i4 M50, iX M60. I don't get it. If it has more range, then good, but maybe like the sweet spot is iX50, but that one is actually expensive. And this one, iX40, with around 340 kilometers in summer, and I guess around 280, 300 in the winter for EV in the city. That makes sense because, but I guess you know as well, if you have EV, you don't pay tax until 2030, 2035, and also like you can also park and charge it, and you don't pay for the parking, you pay for the for your charging fee, which I mean for me it just makes sense because in Berlin it's hard to find parking space. It's getting so bad that it is easier to find charging space. Oh well, it depends where you are gonna be. In the middle of city, it's gonna at the busy time it's gonna be difficult as well, but it's kind of like easier. And now that the parking fee is hiking up, it's getting higher and higher, it just makes sense to have an EV to go around in the city. And by the way, in this video I'm also gonna announce that actually in around 2 weeks time I'm gonna announce my new EV, so there's gonna be a video about that for the picking up. I guess it should be picked up on my birthday, but I think I will need to move that to the back. But yeah, if you want to see the announcement and want to know what car that is, you can hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that video or any future videos in this case, and like this video if this video has been helpful to you. So until the next video, see you there and keep on driving. Bye bye. Udah fungsi KW maksimal. Guck mal, ist 373 da. Interessant. Ist es eigentlich?
Is it you?
Hmm?
Is it you, Ted, from Ted's car?
No.